Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, we are welcoming you back live from the sunny and wintry Nizhny Tagil in Russia. It's the second day of the FIS Nordic Combined Continental Cup Finals 2021. And once again, it's Luis Holoch back for you on the microphone. It's slightly warmer than yesterday, around 10 degrees Celsius warmer. Only -6 degrees Celsius at the moment, so perfect conditions for having the deciding ski jumping round here at the Trampolin Stark facility in the heart of the iced sports center. And of course, we are really looking forward to this part because, of course, it's all about finding today's winner and also who is going to take this trophy at the end of the weekend. We have no clue yet, at least for the women's part, because thanks to Tara Gareth-Timoth's victory yesterday, it has become quite an interesting topic. And this is the start list for the ski jumping rounds. All 19 competitors which were starting in the cross-country race actually have finished it. And the order of arriving to the finish has been turned around in order to determine the starting order for this ski jumping competition. So the best athletes of the cross-country race will start at the end of this ski jumping round. And as we saw yesterday, it was once again Tara Gareth-Timoth who wrote the big headlines. She finished almost a minute ahead of her opponents. Second place was taken by Anastasia Goncharova with a gap of 55 seconds. And third place went to Lisa Hirner of Austria with 56 seconds behind. And even these two athletes will need to make up at least 7 meters towards the American in order to have a chance on today's victory. Usually they say mass start is definitely favoring the strong ski jumpers, but we're talking about a normal hill with a K point of 90 meters and a hill size of 97 meters. So the limits are set. There's not that much you can make up in just this one jump, but this is also the factor which actually makes this format very interesting. Apart from the lack of atmosphere due to the fact that no spectators were allowed for this event, the atmosphere here is really wonderful, really enjoyable, and also the athletes really do like it here. Some even say it's their favorite Continental Cup throughout the whole season, and that's definitely the biggest compliment you can actually make to the organizers. And as it seems, we are pretty much ready to go. You can make a quick overview on the jury and the competition management, which obviously hasn't changed after yesterday. And we're keeping our fingers crossed that they will have an easier job than yesterday, because the wind conditions were very, very mixed. And not that easy to actually find out which in-run length is the right one. And if I'm not mistaken, the guy with the red bib on the left-hand side was Yevgeny Klimov, former Russian Nordic Combiner and now active as a specialized ski jumper. So even if you don't follow Nordic Combined as much, you definitely should know him. Since the ski jumpers have another weekend off World Cup competitions, he obviously decided to take part of this event as a trial jumper. And I'm thinking, why actually not? You should use the best training possibilities you can, and it's not self-explaining that you have such perfect conditions in the middle of March, just as we have here in Nizhny Tagil in the Sverdlovsk region, as you can read on the banner behind the in-run bar. So, bib number 1, Valeria Kolyasnikova, making her international debut here at the Continental Cup in Nizhny Tagil. And there were definitely some positive aspects in that jump. She gained quite a lot of height after the takeoff and puts on a distance of 78 meters for the beginning. 17 years old, the Russian from Yekaterinburg. And interestingly, jumping this older ski model, Sport 2000, which is not being produced anymore. But skis is definitely a matter of trust, matter of faith, and if it fits, then you're gonna take it. Diana Fedorova, as well as her country fella before, was not competing yesterday and in course of the whole season. It's her season debut, but she's not permitted to make her jump in the first attempt. Even only 16 years young, from Krasnoyarsk. In the last season she had her big highlight with competing at the Youth Olympic Games in Lausanne, where the Nordic events took place in Prémanon in Lituve, because there's actually no ski jumping hill in or nearby Lausanne, and then they asked their French neighbors in order to host these competitions, and they were friendly to do so. And even on this weekend we actually have an Alpine Cup in ski jumping in Prémanon. So the best juniors from Central Europe are having their competitions there. We knew it might take a bit today when we were looking on the weather forecast. It didn't promise calm conditions at all, but luckily Fedorova is now able to make her jump. .73 meters for her. And we can already conclude at least the wind is coming from the right direction. A bit of Headwind, which gives you a nice feeling after takeoff. And this is now Olga Aristova. On the bottom right corner you could see the actual in-run speeds. And her distance were 76 meters, which are giving her the lead for the moment. And since I was mentioning the Alpine Cup in Prémanon, of course, there are also Nordic Combiners competing there. 18 women and 45 men competing there. And this was the jump of Claudia Purka of Austria, who started her Nordic career as a specialized ski jumper, now showing us a distance of 84 meters. So gives us a taste of her talent on the ski jumping hill. And of course, this is giving her a clear lead for the moment. With bib number 5 we see Alexandra Tichomovic. Inrun speed is actually correct. She is about 2 kilometers an hour slower than the others, which is a big disadvantage, especially on such a small hill, and it also explains why she couldn't jump longer than 67 meters. Of course, speed is a key part of ski jumping. The more speed you have, the longer you can possibly jump. Annalena Slamik, the next Austrian. And also she's jumping very well as yesterday, where she actually took the half-time lead after the ski jumping round. Now 87 meters for the 17-year-old representative of the Nordic team Absam. So living close to Innsbruck, and she's completing the Austrian double lead ahead of Claudia Purka now. Alexandra Gladyunova from Russia. .5 meters. Basically good timing-wise, but you can see that she's not practicing that sport for too long, so she definitely will need a good summer training ahead, and then she will come back stronger for sure in the next season. And now we are coming to the first German competitor, surely belonging to the top jumpers in this field, Svenja Würz. Mixed team world champion in ski jumping in Lahti 2017 with such familiar names as Carina Vogt, Andreas Wellinger and Markus Eisenbichler. And then for this season she made the switch to Nordic Combined. Unfortunately, she's not allowed to show her skills on the jumping hill for this first attempt. So maybe the second attempt will now be the lucky one for her. And we could already see yesterday that if the conditions are good, she's definitely sending it totally down the hill, close to hill size sometimes even. And as a coach, you definitely also need to watch out that those jumps don't get too long, otherwise it's not only difficult to land but also getting kind of dangerous, and unfortunately she will have to take another break. But like I said before, those waiting games are very familiar for us from yesterday, and perhaps it's the only disadvantage of this facility, that it easily can be affected by stronger winds. You can see how exposed it actually is when we are getting this drone perspective we had earlier in the coverage. And after this break, another try jumper is needed. And I think this is Yevgeny Klimov once again we saw earlier. But at least Svenja could lose her skis in order to move a bit. Compared to yesterday, it's definitely warmer, as I said before, but it's still not comfy at all, especially those jumping shoes are not really thick. And if the wind is blowing around, it doesn't get any warmer. And we can already see it here with the ice which has formed down this small roof. But this is definitely the longest break we have had so far. Yesterday it was on and off sometimes, yeah, but overall we still went through the competition quite quickly. But this is definitely not the case today. And yes, now we can see it. Yes, it's Yevgeny Klimov himself, so nice to have him here around. And for him, making the switch from Nordic Combined to specialized ski jumping definitely paid off. So, maybe the third time is a charm for Svenja Würth, and yes, that's how it is. So, let us look at one of the top jumpers among the competitors, and yeah, she's definitely able to prove it, even though the telemark is missing there. 92.5 meters. It's not as terrifying as yesterday, but still the final part was missing. However, she is still taking the lead. Next up is her teammate, Sophia Maurus. Not that happy about her performance in this second discipline today. We have a distance of 83 meters for the 19-year-olds. And this jump is putting her on third place, unlike the graphic says. It's the ranking you can see there most likely is the sole ranking for ski jumping. And that was almost a heartbreak for Chupan Valieva there, with her jump on 87 meters. Even though she's opening up that jump very, very early to make it not lasting even longer than this. But of course she's losing lots of points there in terms of the style, and so drops to third place. Svetlana Gladikova. .5 meters, so as well as on the cross-country course, also the difference in the ski jumping skills can be quite big in this special part. But it's not really brave to say that it's actually easier to become a good cross-country skier in contrast to become a good ski jumper. But now we can see one, Stefania Nadirmova of Russia. Also sending it close to the K-point line, the first red line you can see on the landing slope. 89 meters for the Russian, and let's have a look on her landing, which is slightly better than Svenja Würz, and consequently she is taking the lead, 17.2 points ahead of the German. Sigrun Kleinrath yesterday stood on the podium with rank number 2. And that's a pretty decent jump by her. She is showing us her main skill, very punctual there at the takeoff, very unique flight style there, but it puts her on a distance of 91 meters. But this is giving her second place in the intermediate standing, 3 points behind Nadirmova, as we already see the next athletes. Emilia Görlich from Germany, who's replacing Jenny Novak today with her jump on only 60.5 meters. Wow. And luckily she took the control of the takeoff, otherwise this could have ended nasty, but we don't have to mention too much that this jump has dropped her to 10th place as Maria Gerbot is taking on the challenge now. Quite an okay jump for her with 83.5 meters, but I have a feeling she's a bit too aggressive there, even here at the takeoff. Maybe wanting a bit too much, not giving her system the time to actually form by itself. But still, she's taking second position, only 0.6 points behind Nadirmova, who's still in the leads. Cindy Harsh. That was a very flat flight curve for her, not really gaining any height after takeoff, and so her jump is already ending at 74 meters, putting her on fourth position. Lisa Hirner. Now we are at the top 3 of the cross-country race. And she will now decide if Nadirmova actually can get a spot on the podium today. Probably there was even more in that jump than she actually was able to squeeze out. 85.5 meters. Immediately gained a massive height there, but was not able to maintain that until the end. 85.5 meters put her on fourth position, and so it is the podium for Stefania Nadirmova. And The final rushing now is coming up with Anastasia Goncharova. Yesterday she finished 10th. Today it's gonna be another top 10 result, but no podium unfortunately. 79 meters. And giving her 6th place. So Maria Gerbot, who is currently 2nd, will get another podium after yesterday. And now the dominator of the 2 cross-country races we saw here in Nizhny Tagil. The woman who is chasing for her 17th individual Continental Cup victory. But that's definitely a disadvantage for her. She has to leave the bar because the wind is outside. Everything went so quickly after this short break we had with Svenja Wirth, but now the wind was getting stronger once again. But maybe she will get the chance now. She has to win this competition in order to keep her chances for winning the overall ranking alive. She already has 100 points in her books and needs 300 during this weekend. And this might be a close race. Her style points are quite okay. 85 meters for Tara Garrett-Moats. Solid jump from the American, and this is actually giving her the lead. And following that, also the victory. So she was able to defend her advantage after the cross-country race and takes the 2nd victory out of 2 competitions during this weekend. And so if she can take another victory tomorrow, she has a good chance to win the COC overall 2021 after winning in 2019 and 2020. Of course, the equipment control is still pending, but we'll take this as an unofficial result. And if this gets confirmed by the jury, she will take the 2nd victory in course of this weekend. And we will only have a very short break and remain in the stream, since the men will also have their jumping rounds in just a very few moments. But for once we will enjoy some highlights of this competition round. Maria Gerbot on 3rd position. Second place went to Stefania Nadirmova. And first place, just as yesterday, Tara Garrett-Moats. Actually, the COC overall ranking I have mentioned for the women is quite a special thing, because current leader still is Gita Westvold Hansen from Norway with 300 points. And since she's not competing here, she won't make any additional points. So that 300 points are the benchmark for Tara Gerov-Timots. And then the ranking will be decided by the better individual results, in case we have two athletes with the exact same amount of points. Now we can scroll through the start list for the men. We were starting the cross-country race with 34 competitors, but one of them hasn't finished the race, which was David Ibragimov from Russia. So 34 are still left. And again, the best man from the cross-country race will finish this competition off. And since we saw a couple of messages from you out there in the chat asking about the wind conditions, we can actually take some time to explain it, since the athletes which are coming here are too far off of having chances for major points. So basically we also have traffic lights here in ski jumping. We have the green light, the yellow light and the red light. The red light basically stands for the status that the in-run is blocked, so you cannot jump. The yellow light is lasting for a maximum of 45 seconds, in which the jury is actually having a look on the wind conditions, and that these needs to be in a certain corridor. There's a minimum and a maximum speed of it, and as long as these conditions are stable within the corridor, you then get a green light, which is lasting for 10 seconds, and in these 10 seconds your coach has to send you down the hill. If you don't, you then get disqualified, or sometimes some athletes even did start too early and then you also get disqualified. You are only allowed to jump when there is a green light. Very similar to traffic actually. You should not cross red lights actually. But in case you have some other questions you would like to ask us, feel free to send them in. We will try to answer them within our coverage. This was now Fabio Obermeier of Austria, who had a very unfortunate moment in today's cross-country race, where he collided with another athlete and then crashed onto the hard snow. Very furious about it. But actually, luckily, he is now able to smile again. Very, very nice sign by the Austrian, who took the lead with his jump on 84.5 meters now, and also will still keep it after Eldar Orusayev from Kazakhstan jumped now 68 meters. Next up is Magjan Amankeljuli, another Kazakh competitor who just missed the points very, very shortly yesterday, finishing 31st. Now with his jump on 68 meters. Even though Kazakhstan has quite some impressive facilities in their country, it will still take some time until we see world-class athletes from this country. But if you are interested in that, you definitely should check out this impressive facility of Shchuchinsk, who made its international debut as a host last season in the summer. A very futuristic facility. Very unique. and this shall become the new training center, even though they have another one in Almaty, which was host of the Universiade not too long ago, and also of the Junior World Ski Championships. So Kazakhstan is definitely represented very well, not only by athletes but also by hosting various events in various categories. And the next athletes, which hopefully is coming up right now, is Eduard Zhirnov. Now with a distance of 77.5 meters, which are giving him the leads. And we actually also have a good news for Magjan Amankeljouli, because he is 0.9 points ahead of Fabio Obermeier, so he will actually score his first Continental Cup points today. And here we can see Björn Kircheisen, the coach of the German B team, waiting for sending his first athletes down the hill, which is Jan Andersen from Königsbronn. Yesterday he finished 27, just as he did in the cross-country race before.
Старший участник на группе номер 7 Ян Андерсон, Германия. Beach 7 Ян Андерсон, Germany.
Yeah, and once again, the 45 seconds I have spoken about a couple of moments ago were counting down, and then the traffic light immediately switches to red, which is the immediate sign for the athletes to actually leave the in-run and wait for another attempt. As you can see here in this perspective, also the jumpers can see the traffic lights. And the coaches are carefully watching not only the lights, but obviously also the wind monitor they have on their coaches platform in order to evaluate the conditions for their athletes. Of course, the flag is quite an indicator, but the wind conditions at the position where Björn Kircheisen is standing obviously can be different from down the hill. But luckily the coach has a good overview with his wind monitor, and he seems a bit desperate at the moment. Definitely wants to send his athlete down the hill, but if the jury is convinced that the conditions are outside of the corridor, they are clearly not allowed to do so, and once again he has to leave the bar. And as we saw in the women's competition, at some point also a trial jumper is required, just as in this moment, obviously. also required in order to set the traffic light system to its rhythm again. Yeah, it's definitely an own world. It's not that easy to understand if you don't follow ski jumping regularly. Basic knowledge in terms of rules is definitely required. In contrast to that, cross country is quite easy to understand. Of course, there's also certain things you are not allowed to do, but the regulations in ski jumping are a bit more complicated.
Yep.
And usually if you watch World Cup competitions, you don't get to see those trial jumpers on TV, on the screen, even though they are definitely a key part of the sport. When you don't have these jumpers available, you simply cannot carry out such competitions, which is also why you definitely should be thankful for each trial jumper which is willing to do this. So now Jan Andersen finally can make his attempt. Break he actually had, this jump was quite okay, 81 meters, the second longest jump so far. But you can see there's quite a bit of wind, especially in the first flight phase, the part of the slope which is most exposed to the conditions, but now he's taking the lead with his jump. Gingiz Rakbarov from Kazakhstan, the fourth and final Kazakh we are going to see in this competition, with a jump on 69.5 meters, and also for him it's going to be a point result after he finished 29th yesterday. He puts himself up to third place ahead of his country fellow Amanka Julie, and this is definitely a big success for a rather small country in the Nordic sports universe. Niklas Malacinski of the United States equals Andersen's distance with 81 meters. Seemed like he couldn't really wait to start his jump there. Of course he knew that he would need to make up a lot in this part discipline. For the moment he's taking the lead, but I'm not sure about how long this is actually going to take. Artyom Galunin for Russia. Feels quite good to see him having a clear jump after what happened yesterday. He immediately had big turbulences after leaving the takeoff, and then he even crashed on the landing slope. Luckily he is very much okay and immediately takes the lead from Malacinski with his jump on 79 meters. Dominik Terza for the Austrian team, which is waiting for a top results here in Nizhny Tagil on this weekend still. But that is actually a solid jump from the passionate kite surfer actually, so quite a bit of an action hero. And these 85 meters, which are the best distance so far, of course, putting him on top of the results at the moment. Florian Dang, bronze medalist of the Youth Olympic Games in Lillehammer 2016. not really able to show the same performance as his teammate before. Only 73.5 meters, as the wind luckily has calmed down a bit. 4th place for him behind Malecinski, so the American makes up another place, as we see Malecinski's compatriot Grant Andrews. Very fine technique from the American, actually. 80 meters. His best result in the current season was ranked number 12 in Park City. For the moment, it's 2nd position behind Terza. Simon Hüttel for Germany. Only 73.5 meters for the 21-year-old, son of Germany's team manager Horst Hüttel. Also competed in the World Cup this year, twice in Klingenthal, finishing 45th. And for the moment ranked number 3. Next up is Christian Frank, the silver medalist of the Junior World Ski Championships in Oberwiesenthal last year. Slightly better on the ski jumping hill, but I shouldn't have mentioned that the wind has calmed down a bit. Once I said that, it's back here again, unfortunately. But so far we are still quite good in time, if you consider that the time we actually have per athlete is marginally shorter than during World Cup competitions. Still, our broadcast partner Match TV is definitely doing a fine job with their coverage, which is also the reason why we can actually offer this to you. And the Russian colleagues actually do take this as a test for the next 2 weekends, when they will broadcast the Bluebird Tour in ski jumping, which is taking place here in Nizhny Tagil next weekend, and the weekend after in Tchaikovsky, which will also be the World Cup final for the female ski jumpers. Kircheisen is feeling mixed about the conditions, but not too pessimistic. So, Frank is underway. $79.5 meters. At rank number 3, ahead of Hüttel, and here we have Simen Tiller, the Continental Cup overall leader, who doesn't have to worry too much about maintaining that spot actually, but he's definitely keen to show us a good jump like he did yesterday. Yeah, and that's definitely a solid attempt by 25-year-old Norwegian. 87.5 meters. No surprise that he's actually taking the lead, as we now see Alexander Milanin. 78.5 meters. Next to his passion for Nordic Combined, he's actually playing accordion. Definitely an untypical hobby, but a nice instrument, so why not? Definitely a good example that athletes are not only fully focused on their sport and also have other things in mind. And this was now Vitaly Sharshavin, 26th yesterday, his first COC point result in the current season, and he will add another one today as he is ranked 8th at the moment. Samir Mastiev finished in midfield yesterday with rank number 15. But we actually do like his cross-country performances a bit better than his ski jumping performances. 76 meters, it's pretty tight at the moment from rank 3 downwards, and so this jump drops him to 5th place at the moment. Samuel Mraz, Austria. His best Continental Cup result actually was a 5th place here in Nizhny Tagil last year. But I'm afraid this is going to happen today as well. 76.5 meters for the Austrian from Klagenfurt. Giving him rank number 5. But still the best Austrian at the moment is Dominik Terza, who is still listed on 2nd position. And that was the jump of Wendelin Tannheimer from Oberstdorf, Germany. 83.5 meters for the 21-year-old. Was named Athlete of the Year by his local ski federation of Allgäu in 2019. And now takes 2nd spot from Terza, still behind Simon Tiller, who's still the man to beat. Also for Manuel Einkemmer. Definitely a better day on the ski jump for him compared to yesterday. Also very good timing wise. 82.5 meters, and since he had a bit of a gap to Tiller, this jump is putting him on top of the result list at the moment. And the next Austrian is coming right away now with Thomas Rettenegger. It seems as there's a bit more headwinds in the upper part of the landing slope. You can see how much the athletes are actually dropping the closer they get to the K-point line. Still 83 meters are quite good for the current conditions. But he misses that first place by only 1.1 points. Lars Ivar Skorset from Norway. And this is actually Carlo Brümmel we see here. I have actually mistaken him yesterday with Thomas Schjelbotten. And luckily our dear FIS colleague Romina Eggert was caring very much about it and immediately texted me after the jumping round. So I stand corrected for that. It's not that easy to actually recognize these guys when they are wearing such thick winter clothes and the face mask on top. But yeah, there's definitely obligatory to correct that. And we also had the time for it, since Skorset unfortunately had to leave the bar. Last year he very much impressed at the Holmenkollen in Oslo, where he finished 13th. Very impressive. In this season he was waiting for a podium until he finished second yesterday. And since we know how good he actually can jump, he might have another shot for a podium today, since a couple of guys are coming up who are not that strong on the jumping hill. And in the end, it's also this uncertainty. Will it be enough what they are showing on the ski jumping hill in order to keep their place? It's definitely mixing up things a bit, especially compared to the regular Gundersen event.
T24, Norway.
But the coach, who originally comes from Germany, is not too optimistic. But now he gets the green light. Lars Ivar Skorset. And that's what I was talking about. He is always able to pull out a great jump, just as he did right now, 87.5 meters. Equalized the distance of his country fella Simon Tiller, but of course this is giving him the lead for now, and also quite a gap, 13.4 points ahead of Manuel Einkemmer. And now this is the challenge for the ones coming up. Vyacheslav Barkov for Russia. But quite a solid jump for him, even though he doesn't seem to be that happy about it. The 29-year-old from Moscow. 81 meters. Yep. Good job for him. 5th place at the moment. And so that improves his result from yesterday, where he finished 16th. The final Austrian we are going to see, hopefully very, very soon now, is Marc-Louis Reiner, representative of the ski club Saalfelden Salzburg. Graduates of the local main school in Saalfelden, and then he moved to the famous Ski Gymnasium in Stams. Currently living in Zell am See, mostly famous for the Alpine Ski resort there. He actually has quite an interesting mixture of idols. If I look in my database there, I can read the names Felix Gottwald, Nordic Combined legend from Saalfelden, Peter Nordhug, the famous cross-country skier from Norway, and Gregor Schlierenzauer, the ski jumper of Austria, who still holds the record for most World Cup victories for the men. So let's hope that he can now take his jump, because we of course rather talk about the actual current performances. 20th place yesterday, Park City actually finished 4th, 5th and 8th, his best Continental Cup results throughout the season. He also had a couple of starts in the World Cup, but wasn't able to score a point there. And as well as with today's wind conditions, some have it a bit easier, some need a bit more time to actually make their breakthrough, as we are now awaiting another trial jumper. And therefore Rainer is allowed to get out of his binding system, which isn't that flexible, as you probably might imagine from other sports. Not that comfy, and especially those boots. Nothing you would like to wear going out, if it's actually possible. Of course, we all know it's some places it's easier, some places it's literally impossible. But at least the mood is still kind of good. On top of the coach's tower, Vinny Denefil on the right hand side, Björn Kircheisen on the left hand side. And of course we also have floodlights here, so definitely no time pressure at all. In the current standings we still see Skorset leading with his point score of 95.7, ahead of Einkemmer 82.3 and Rettenegger 81.2. Still the best Russian is Vyacheslav Barkov on 5th place, ahead of best current German Wendelin Tannheimer. And in the top 10 we also have the best American at the moment, Grant Andrews, on rank number 8. And still 8 athletes to go.
На старте участник грудный номер 26, Марк Луис Райнер, Австрия. 26, Mark Louis Reiner, Austria.
Yeah, but obviously if you have to wait, it doesn't really give you a boost of confidence. But therefore his jump was still okay with 78 meters, dropping him to 4th position at the moment behind his teammates Einkemmer and Rettenegger. Terence Weber, our winner from yesterday, his first ever Continental Cup victory, and definitely aiming for another podium today. And that's exactly what he was hoping for and what we could expect from him. Yeah, you can clearly see that this guy is regularly competing in the World Cup level. 93 meters for the man from Saxony, 24 years of age, the silver medalist with the team in Oberstdorf at the World Ski Championships, and of course now taking the lead ahead of Skorset, the longest jump of the competition and also the only one so far above the K-point distance. That was Jared Shoemate with his jump on 80 meters, and I'm a bit afraid this is spoiling the performances of his teammates, because they clearly have better shape in cross-country skiing at the moment. 10th place only for him at the moment. And another strong ski jumper is coming up right now with Julian Schmid 14th place in the World Cup in Klingenthal this season. The 21-year-old from Oberstdorf, posting a distance of 85 meters. But since he gets a couple of minus points for having headwind, which is obviously an advantage in ski jumping, he drops to 5th place at the moment. He also could have ended up in 3rd place. That's how close the rankings are at the moment, as we see Kasper Moen Flatla from Norway. But it's not really proving that the Norwegians are the ones to beat on the ski jumping hill. This drops him to 11th place. The result he already got yesterday, but I'm afraid he will not maintain that spot until the end of the competition, as the final 3 jumpers are coming up right now. The first one of them is David Mach. 5th place yesterday. And also today, he definitely has the podium in his sights. But again, as well as other colleagues before, he has to wait a bit until he can make his jump actually. If someone of you out there has a good connection to the wind master or wind god or whatever you believe in, please feel free to text him, because it's quite a tricky one here during this weekend in Nizhny Tagil. And also the athletes surely hope that it's not going to take for too long. They rather would like to jump into warm clothes. But now Mach will get his chance to maintain his 3rd spot after the cross-country race. It's a decent jump, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. "84 meters for the German, but it's safe that one German will stand on the podium, and in this case it's actually Terence Weber. David Mach, now ranked 3rd behind the score set, and only 2 Americans are left. Steven Schumann finished 2nd in the cross-country race, has the best Continental Cup result of the current season in his sights. At the moment it's still ranked number 11 from Park City, and it would be a great achievement for him if he actually could top that here. But as well as David Mach, he has to wait another few moments. Thankfully now he is good to go. So, can Steven Schumann score his first podium of the Continental Cup season? I'm afraid this is not going to be enough. And probably also not for his best results. this season. 74.5 meters only for the 20-year-olds. The shape he was showing us on the cross-country track was a very good one. And in the ski jump, it didn't work out for him. 13th position. Equal score with Grant Andrews. And now it's Taylor Fletcher's turn. But sadly, the jumping performance is literally the same he showed all season. Such a good cross-country skier, but it's just not meant to be for him on the hill. He's not as relaxed as he needs to be. 76 meters only. And so this is just not enough to maintain that spot. So once again, the winner this weekend is named Terence Weber of Germany. And Fletcher has dropped to 4th place. Only 1.6 points behind David Mach, who takes the 3rd spot. And in between we have Lars Ivar Skorseth for Norway. So yesterday we had 2 Norwegians on the podium and 1 German. Today it's the other way around. Also the 2nd podium in a row for Skorseth this weekend after he took 2nd position yesterday. So he finished twice on 2nd spots. And tomorrow has another chance to get the victory. But Terence Weber, 2nd Continental Cup start of the season, 2nd victory. That's quite solid, as they tend to say in Germany. So David Mach in the end maintained his 3rd place after the ski jumping rounds. His 2nd podium in this Continental Cup season, his 3rd place, which he also scored in Park City, which is also the 2nd COC podium ever in his career. Lars Ivar Skorseth, other podium finish for him. But the man to beat yesterday was also the man to beat today, and probably is also the man to beat tomorrow in the extended Gundersen. Terence Weber. Finishing the 1st place. So no matter what the order of our disciplines, ski jumping and cross country actually is, the winner is Weber, at least during this weekend at the moment here in Nizhny Tagil. But in contrast to the women's, we actually don't have to look too much into detail in terms of the overall ranking. As I said, the lead Simon Tiller had before this weekend and also had after yesterday is quite comfy. But for David Mach, it's looking quite good. He's making up another couple of places as well as he did yesterday.
Просьба подойти на церемонию награждения. Теренс Вебер, Германия, Ларс Ивар Скарсет, Норвегия, Дэвид Мак, Германия, Тейлор Флетчер, USA, Мануэль Никмайер, Австрия, Томас.
And as well as yesterday, we are also broadcasting the prize giving ceremonies for you.
Please be prepared for the prize giving ceremony.
So the podium is already being prepared, and we will start again with the women, where the results have been confirmed after the equipment control, and we are very glad this seems to be working a bit faster than yesterday. And the one thing I have mentioned in the cross-country broadcast earlier was the FIS coaches and staff race. I said it was about to happen after the men's must start today, but then it was postponed due to the obligatory COVID testing. It said that they will have it tomorrow. We will see. We are definitely keeping in touch with them and see if they will actually have it. And if they have it, we are keen to show you a bit of footage, at least on our social media. But I thought once that I've mentioned it in the broadcast earlier, I should get back to that during this broadcasting as well. If you have wondered about the results of it, I can't give you them since it hasn't. We are still on it, that's for sure.
Уважаемые участники и представители команд, мы приглашаем вас на торжественную церемонию награждения.
Representatives of the team and top 6 athletes, please welcome to the prize giving ceremony. Get prepared, please.
As well as yesterday, we are waiting for the top 6 athletes to take part of the prize giving ceremony. But as it seems, they are still needing a couple of moments.
Просьба участниц пройти на церемонию награждения.
Top 6 athletes, please get ready for the prize giving ceremony.
Тара Герати, Моутс, США.
Tara Garrity Modes, USA.
Стефания Надымова, Россия.
Stefania Nadimova, Russia.
Мария Гербут, Германия.
Maria Gerbel, Germany.
Сингрун Клейнрад, Австрия.
Sigrun Kleinreit, Austria.
Лиза Хирнер, Австрия.
Lisa Hirner, Austria.
Синди Хэш, Германия.
Cindy Hash, Germany.
Просьба мужчин пройти на церемонию награждения.
And top 6 male athletes, please also get prepared for the prize giving ceremony.
Теренс Вебер, Германия.
Terence Weber, Germany.
Ларс Ивар Скарсет, Норвегия.
Lars Ivar Skarseth, Norway.
Дэвид Мах, Германия.
David Mark, Germany.
Тейлор Флетчер, США.
Taylor Fletcher, the United States of America.
Мануэль Анкмайер, Австрия.
Manuel Engemer, Austria.
Томас Ретенегер, Австрия.
Thomas Rettenegger, Austria.
And the main reason why it's taking a bit longer is still that there are no official results available yet, but at least our timing monitor is confirming it, except one small glitch. Because there Alexander Milanin is still listed on third place, something which needs to be corrected, because clearly David Mach finished third. It's been a long season, so these technical issues can happen from time to time, especially that Mars start format is not the most common one, as I've mentioned. So we apologize for that, but it should only be a matter of time until we can finally present you the best athletes of today. But like I said, also smaller nations can be happy about quite a couple of results. But now that the FIS Fanfare is finally being played, I think we are ready for the prize giving ceremony.
Завершился второй день финала континентального кубка по лыжному двоеборью.
And because it's so beautiful, they even play it twice. Yeah, well, we have to enjoy it as long as possible, because there will be a long spring break ahead where we won't hear it. So actually, I don't mind hearing it twice.
Во второй день финала континентального кубка по лыжному двоеборью среди женщин.
We're starting the prize giving ceremony for the Nordic Combined Continental Cup Day 2.
Or even free time.
Награждение проводит заместитель министра физической культуры и спорта Свердловской области Александр Викторович Маслов.
The prizes are going to be given by Deputy Minister of Physical Education and Sport in Sverdlovsk region Alexander Maslov.
Президент Федерации прыжков на лыжах с трамплина и лыжного двоеборья России Дмитрий Эдуардович Дубровский.
Dmitry Dubrovsky is the president of Ski Jumping and Nordic Combined Federation of Russia.
Начальник управления по развитию физической культуры, спорта и молодежной политики администрации города Нижний Тагил Ирина Львовна Еремеева.
Irina Yeremeyeva, Director of the Department for Physical Education, Sport and Youth Policy Nizhny Tagil.
Шестое место заняла Синди Хэш, Германия. Церемонию награждения проводит Дмитрий Эдуардович Дубровский.
Please welcome for the sixth place, Cindy Harsh, Germany. The prizes are being given by Dmitry Dubrovsky.
Пятое место заняла Лиса Хирнер, Австрия. Церемонию награждения проводит Ирина Львовна Еремеева.
Please welcome for the fifth
Okay,
place,
so they
Lisa
seem
Hirner,
to take it very,
Austria.
very
The
serious
prizes
with
are
the
being given
FIS
by Irina Yeremeyeva.
They just couldn't stop playing it. Or maybe they don't even hear it. I'm a bit surprised. I haven't experienced that, and I have seen quite a few
Четвертое место
prize giving
заняла
ceremonies
Сингру
in my career already.
Плейрат. Австрия. Церемонию награждения проводит
There's always new
Александр
things
Викторович
to see,
Маслов.
things you haven't seen
Please
before.
welcome
So,
for the fourth place,
we are seeing
Sigurd
the
Kleinrad, Austria. The prizes are being given by
athletes
Alexander Maslov.
finishing 6th, 5th and 4th in today's must-start events. Cindy Harsh, Lisa Hirner and Sigrun
Третье
Kleinrath.
место заняла Мария Гербут, Германия. Церемонию
And then we
награждения
come
проводит
to the
Дмитрий
podium setters.
Эдуардович
Maria
Дубровский.
Gerbot of
Please welcome for the third
Germany.
place, Maria Gerbut, Germany. The prizes are being
Taking
given by Dmitry
third
Dubrovsky.
position. As she did yesterday. So, overall, a very, very nice weekend.
Второе место заняла Стефания Внимание
the
на
18-year-old
Дымова,
from
Россия.
Thuringia.
Церемонию награждения проводит Ирина Львовна
And the
Еремеева.
second place
Please
went
welcome for the
to
second
home hero
place
Stefana
Nadimova,
Nadimova.
Russia. The prizes are being given by Irina Yeremeyeva.
Second place for her. First
Первое
podium
место
here in Nizhny
заняла
Tagil after
Тара
she finished
Герасимов,
third
США.
in 2019.
Церемонию награждения проводит Александр
The winner
Викторович Маслов.
of the two competitions
And
in
please
the
welcome
premiere
for the
of the
first place,
decisive finals
Tara Gerasimov,
in
the United States of
2018.
America.
But
The
once
prizes are being
again,
given by Alexander Maslov.
nobody was able to beat the American Tara Gerasimov, taking her 17th Continental Cup win.
Звучит гимн страны победителя.
The national anthem of the United States of America.
Просим наших уважаемых гостей сделать общее фото со спортсменами.
So obviously the DJ couldn't really wait until he or she dropped the US anthem, which is why I interrupted so silently, but it's a duty for commentators to not speak anymore once the anthem is playing. So we're glad to see our top athletes today, as well as yesterday, doing a fantastic job on the hill and on the cross-country track. And the special challenge, the final challenge of the season, is coming up tomorrow with a world premiere, because we will have the extended individual Gundersen events for the women for the first time, with 2 ski jumping rounds and a cross-country race over 7.5 kilometers, which the world hasn't seen before. And of course, dropping the FIS fanfare once again is obligatory, since the prize giving ceremony for the men is coming up now. And the main question is, will they put it on replay, on repeat, or will they stop playing it after the first time? It seems... No, it doesn't seem as they fixed it.
Please welcome
Oh
for the
my
sixth
word,
place,
what is
Thomas
happening here?
Rittenegger, Austria. The prizes are being given by Dmitry Dubrovsky.
So, Thomas Rettenegger of Austria finishing
Церемонию награждения проводит Ирина Львовна Еремеева.
Please welcome for the first place, Manuel Einhammer,
on
Austria. The
6th
prizes
place.
are being given by Irina Yeremeyeva.
behind his teammate Manuel Einkemmer.
Четвертое место занял Тейлор Флетчер, США. Церемонию награждения проводит Александр Викторович Маслов.
Please welcome for the first place, Taylor Fletcher, the United States of America. The prizes are being given by Alexander Maslov.
4th place for Taylor Fletcher. Once again, just as yesterday. But maybe his chance will come tomorrow with the 15-kilometer cross-country race. 3rd place to David Mach. His 2nd ever Continental Cup podium once again. 3rd position for the German. And the guy who's finishing in 2nd position is also very familiar from yesterday, Lars Ivar Skorsets. Equalizes yesterday's performance. And maybe FIS should actually think of releasing the FIS Fanfare officially, so they can make a bunch of streams out there, because that's what you basically how you.
For the 1st place, Terence Weber, Germany. The prizes have been given by Alexander Maslov.
Oh, this is wonderful. This is really wonderful. As well as the weekend is wonderful for Terence Weber. Again, our winner, just as yesterday. And we definitely should put him on our list as the favorite for tomorrow, as we'll now hear the German national anthem once again. But not only the music seems to be doing what it is wanting to do, also the big checks we can see for the athletes are doing their own thing. But as long as the photos work out properly, it is all fine. So the starting time for tomorrow for men and women is actually the same, as they will jump after each other. First competition round women, first competition round men, then second competition round women, second competition round men is the order from 10:20 local time, so 6:20 Central European time. And then in the afternoon we will have the cross-country races, 7.5 kilometers women starting at 4 p.m. local time and 2 a.m. Central European time. And the 15 kilometer for the men will follow at 5 p.m. local time, 1 p.m. Central European time. And this is actually the final info I actually wanted to give to you. And this long and eventful day here in Nizhny Tagil is coming to an end. I hope you guys out there liked our coverage and will also tune in tomorrow, because it's going to be the big Continental Cup final, the two final events of the season, at least in this category. Really looking forward to it. Wishing you a nice rest of the Saturday. My name is Luis Holoch. I'm signing out. Bye bye.